Hey guys, what's up? My name's Art B, and I am back with another. I'm here doing another video. Now, this next video is going to be one of those. I mean, a lot of times I like doing comic book stuff, and that's cool. Today's Wednesday, which is comic book day. I decided not to go buy any comic books today. I think I got maybe 6 out of the 10 books. Ooh, excuse me. But what happened is tomorrow on I have a podiatrist appointment. So, which means I'm taking a half day off after I get out of the podiatrist. I'm going to buy some books, some current stuff. But don't worry, I got some. Like I said, I got some stuff, old stuff coming that I won from some auctions, and that's on its way back. three of those books already came back, and I really don't want to do a video on 3 books. I could, but didn't feel like it. Of course, this week you heard about what happened in Wisconsin about a guy who ran away from the police and got shot in the back. Now, here's a problem with that one. Depending upon where it is. See, here's the thing. I don't really care about it. Okay? Because it's not, one, it's not me. 2, could it be me? The answer is yes. And it could have been me if I didn't have my wits about me that one day. But basically what happened was one day I got pulled over. The 2 officers came to my car. One of them had his gun drawn on the passenger side. He had his gun drawn, ready to fire. The other guy had his hand on, like, kind of like right here, you know. He had his hand like this, and I'm sitting there like, but it was over. I mean, it was a silly trip. But the thing is, a lot of times I was mad when they pulled me over, especially when they had their guns drawn at me, because I'm thinking, well, here's a black man, and we're gonna do whatever it takes to make sure we get him in trouble. That's what was going on in my mind. But luckily, after I started cracking jokes, things got kind of normal. They put their guns away. I said, I'm not getting out of my car while you have your guns drawn, because I feel for my safety. If you want to arrest me because of that, I will tell the judge that myself. Surprisingly, they did put the guns away. So they put their guns away, and I got out the car. Didn't try anything. Nothing to try. They thought I was some drug dealer because my car matched the description of a drug dealer car. And they tossed my car 5 ways to Sunday while I was sitting in the back seat of the police car, and 2-3 more cars swooped up, joined the search, asked me 1,000,001 questions. And then I said, okay, sorry, this is wrong. You're not the person we're looking for. And, of course, my car's trashed. Everything was like, everything that was in my glove compartment was all over the place. Everything was tossed around. I was like, yeah. But anyway. But the thing is that, according to reports, he was a sexual predator. He molested a 15-year-old girl. Okay. All right. But you saw the video. And a lot of people, and I've been having talks with a lot of people and a lot of conservatives. It's funny, a lot of conservative people were telling me that I'm wrong. I'm this, and this, and this. But I'm like, well, you get what you deserve. I'm like, The dude, from what I've heard, from other sources, the dude came there to break up some kind of domestic dispute, and then the cops was there, and then I heard that he got tackled to the ground, got tased. But then if you look at him, the dude is skinny like Buck 05. The two cops were skinny as hell too, and I'm thinking to myself, you mean to tell me that these two police officers couldn't just tackle the dude? You know. But then again, it's like this: you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. They said that he was going to get it. He had a knife, but the video I seen I didn't see a knife there. Maybe my eyesight's bad. I know I got reading glasses, but I didn't see any evidence of any knife in the video. He said he was going to go on a gun and go in the car and get his gun. Now I don't know about you, but that'd be kind of silly for me to tell two police officers who are armed that I'm going to go to my gun, get my gun out of my car. That's kind of ridiculous, but that's what's going on. Regardless of how you feel about it, it's not an issue for me. Because no matter how you look at it, it's bad. If you think it's a racial thing, it's bad. If it's not a racial thing, it's bad. Because it all depends on the procedures. But anyway, enough of that garbage. Moving on. There has been a topic recently that I came across. And one day I was watching YouTube. And every now and then there's these ads from this place called PragerU. Now, PragerU is a very right-leaning conservative information thing, newscast thing, where they throw a lot of things in considerable light on a conservative viewpoint. And some things make sense and some things don't, but who knows? However you want to look at it. But the funny thing is, one thing was about how college. This one guy was talking about how college is useless. And I looked up, I was like, what the fuck is he talking about? Like the biggest names in the industry, the biggest names around, never went to college. Really? Well, okay. And I thought about it. He mentioned Bill Gates. Bill Gates dropped out of college. He just dropped out of college. But if you know about anything about Bill Gates' story, he bought a CPU off of somebody, marketed, trademarked it, improved on it, and then sold it. It was just innovation. Also, he's talking about the Wright brothers didn't. The Wright brothers didn't, go to college. But then college wasn't really a thing back then. It was, but only for very few people do it. Most people did trade work. And they talk about Mark Zuckerberg. Well, Mark Zuckerberg was in college. He basically ripped off MySpace and made it more interesting. So there you go. I mean, it's not like and this guy this guy who was talking about this, he said, I own a company. He owned a web-based information company, like a news company, and he says I hire college graduates. Well, because think about this: an owner doesn't have to go to college. If you own your own business, you don't have to go to college. But if you're working on an online-based thing, you need people with computer science knowledge to make sure your website works, make sure things post naturally, so which usually requires some sort of degree. So in a way, the way how he was talking, he basically was saying college is not great for everybody, and it's worthless. And he's talking about like how a lot of people have these useless degrees now. Well, here's the thing. Is college right for you? Well, most of my audience, I believe, are adults, and their college years are done and gone. But what if you're not in college yet? I don't know. I don't know if any of you watching are at the high school level or haven't went to the college level yet. Who knows? I don't know. So I'm just saying. I grew up in the 70s and 80s. And what happens, they always told us, if you want a good job, you have to go to college. If you want a good job, you got to go to college. Because to them, working at McDonald's was not a good job. Okay? They, even back then, working at McDonald's is considered, manual labor. Manual labor. Something like that. But places like, if you didn't go to school, you worked at places like this. Okay, but then everybody chooses their own path. Some people, I'm looking up. It's like if you're working if you're a mechanic at a shop, you don't need a college degree. You just need something to say you know how to work, you know how to repair cars. And nowadays there are technical universities or they used to call it trade schools to do that. But what happened was, back when I was younger, the idea was that having a college education gives you a license to get a better job. Sorry, I had spaghetti for dinner, and gotta get some Alka-Seltzer pretty soon. But anyway, so what happened is, like, for example, I worked at Bob Evans. My first job was a dishwasher at Bob Evans. I was a busboy / dishwasher at Bob Evans. Some of these guys were cooks. They're just career short order cooks. They worked there till they get to the better job. If they can get into the airport, they make more money. They was making like $8 an hour back, like $5 to $7 now. Back in the, when I first started, minimum wage was $3.35, and that was in 1988. In 1988, think about this. This is 2020. In 1988, the minimum wage was $3, and now it's like $8 an hour. So that means in almost 40 years, the minimum wage just a little more than doubled. Imagine that. Just think about it. But anyway, their idea was getting to the airport. If I got a job at the airport, being a cook at the airport, I could make $10 an hour instead of $5 or $6 here. Okay. And a lot of people trying to get into the big three, on the assembly lines on the big three, getting a job at the airport. Those are considered the big jobs that did not have a college degree. Every day for lunch, these 4 guys who always came into my restaurant. Like 2 or 3 times a week. And they'd be sitting there. They had their ties on. They were dressed nicely. And one time I was cleaning up. I just looked at them. I said, "Excuse me, I had to ask you one question." And I was 17 at the time. I said, "I'm sorry. I don't mean to ask you this kind of question. It's maybe kind of personal, but maybe not be. But I'm just curious. How in the world do you get a job like yours?" And it goes, "Oh, kid, you want to know? Okay, kid." He goes, "Are you about to go to college?" I go, "Yeah, I'm about to go to college pretty soon." He goes, "Yeah, go to college, stay in college, get your college degree. Then you might be able to work at Ford Motor Company like we do, making, average salary about like $50,000 to $60,000 a year." I'm like, whoa. These guys that was cooking their food was trying to get $10 an hour. I'm thinking $60,000 a year. And so I thanked them, and there we go. I thanked them, went on my merry way. And that's what I thought. I went to school. I knew people who went to school for philosophy or psychology, got a psych degree. Problem is with a psych degree, you can't really do much with it unless you get your master's. See, some of those college professions, you have to have your master's or your doctor's before you can actually do something with it. So, and most likely is you're trying to write a book, or you're trying to write articles, or you might be trying to teach classes. Okay, that's how that is. This one guy I knew, he was studying to be an engineer. The funny thing is, I helped. We met like the year before, and it was kind of cool between us. It was his senior year. We moved. We helped him move. I helped him and his family move into his dorm room. And 2 weeks after he moved into his dorm room, Ford Motor Company came in and says, "Guess what, man? We want to hire you now. You start off with $50,000 a year. You can give you money to finish your school and education." You know what that guy did? Bye. And I was like, "Yeah, that's what I'm talking about." And then again, like I said, getting your college degree is a license to get a decent blue collar, white collar job. Do you have to have one? No. There's schools for like DeVry University or Phoenix where you can get a business degree, and basically they teach you nothing but business classes. And the reason for those kind of classes is because you know exactly how to work in a business. While they consider college students well-rounded individuals, that's why we had to take classes like oceanography or intro to whatever. Even I took some Black history classes, and the funny thing was, it didn't make sense. Like, for example, the guy who was head of the Black Studies department at my university, the only thing you could do with is write books. Either you write, or you learn how to write a book, or you teach, and that's what it is. Some people study HVAC, for heating and cooling. There's places where you can learn how to fix mechanics. So you don't have to do that. One of my colleagues, her son, is studying HVAC. And the funny thing is, he goes to a school to study HVAC, gets his internship, does his thing. Then after that, after a couple of years, he can open up his own company if he really wants to, or go into business for himself. My Jimmy, I was going to a lot of backyard mechanics who had mechanical skills, worked at the big plants or whatever, and they just did stuff on the side for extra money for their hot rods and stuff. So, do you really need a college education to make it in today's world? No, you don't. It all depends on what you want to do. Now, for example, if you want to be a doctor, a dentist, ophthalmologist, or something like that, you better have a college degree. You have to have a college degree so you can go more schooling, because you're dealing with other people's lives. See, some professions you can do that with. This one lady I remember working at Bob Evans. This one lady, she's a waitress. She says she had an accounting degree. She claimed she had an accounting degree. So basically, she's good for taxes. Okay, that's cool. And I said, "Well, how come you're not working in a company?" She goes, "I make more money waitressing." So in other words, you spend all that time to get your accounting degree, and you want to work. And even though you might, if you find a shitty job, I can understand that. But then again, if you want to bust your hump being a waitress, weird. One of the cooks was a computer science major. But the thing is, he says, I don't mind cooking because I live at home. My mom pays for everything. It's like, wow. Here I am. I got a college degree. I work for the federal government. At the end of the month, I've been working at the federal government for 20 years. What my job is, you can have any kind of college degree because you're doing the same thing. I just take disability claims. It's very technical and very knowledgeable, and I do get paid very well. Only reason why I get paid very well because I've been there for almost 20 some years. But when I first started, I was making like 23,000 a year. August of 2000, I started working there, and my salary was $23,000. And then what happens, because it was a federal government job, everything's in stages. So what happens within 3 years of working, you're bumped up from 24 to 40,000. All you had to do is survive. If you can survive that, you can make $40,000 in 3 years. And then again, also, depending upon how much ass you kiss, you can end up in management. For example, my boss right now, I've been at our job longer than he has. But the thing is that he wanted to promote, and he was around the right people that would help promote him. I had a way to get promoted, but what happened was my boss didn't like the idea of promoting me, helping me out because of the fact that I have an attitude problem, which I agree with. But anyway, so, but basically, you don't have to have a college degree to do a lot of things, but it all depends what you want to do. For example, my niece was talking about being an anesthesiologist, so you have to go to school for that. But some people go to school for phlebotomy. People who draw blood, there's a special school for that. So there's specialized schools for certain things, and certain times you have to go to college for other things. So depending upon what you want to do, determines that. But if you want to open up your own business, like for example, this one guy I know, he opened up a restaurant. Started making so much money, he opened up a second one. Started earning up so much money, he opened up a third one. Then after a while, he realized it got too much for him, so he pared it down to one again. And now he wanted this one restaurant, and it took him 15 years to get this one restaurant. And he makes pretty good, decent money. Plus, he sells houses and all sorts of stuff. So, some people, you can get real estate licenses, which don't. You have to go to a quote unquote school, take classes. So you have to take some kind of classes for insurance and stuff like that. So so do you really need? Depending upon what you want to do in your life, will determine whether or not you need college or not. Some places will hire college graduates, and some places, it all depends who you know too. So in a way, that guy was right, but in a lot of ways, even though the guy who was hosting this little shindig thing, this little video that he was doing, he owns his own business. He doesn't have a college degree, but he needs people with college degrees to help his company work and function. Because you need journalism, because he does news, it's online news, so you have to have some journalism skills. Yeah. So even though he would say, "Oh, you don't need a college degree," but then again, you have to hire college graduates to help your vision grow. For example, Jeff Bezos, the guy who owns Amazon, pretty much one of the richest men in the world, he has to have people with college degrees to help run his company. Even the president even have a college degree of some sort. There you go. So do you need a college degree? It all depends on what you want to do. So with that in mind, that's all I got to talk about. Now, true, I do talk, like I said, I do like to talk about happier stuff, but sometimes I do feel like I should do some serious things as well. Some channels are commentary channels, they comment on stuff. Okay, that's great. Some people are socially conscious channels. Some people talk about whatever. I'm one of those whatever kind of things. If I see a good movie, and if I want to tell you about it, I will tell you about it. I did once, twice, 3 times a lady. So, with that in mind, I'm gonna go pop some Alka-Seltzer to help with this acid reflux that's coming on me strong right now. And I'll check you guys out later. Now, if you like what I'm talking about, give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs down if you say, "Art, you're full of shit. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about." If you want to share this video, go ahead and share it. That's great. If you want to leave some words down there, words of encouragement, words of positivity, or even words of negativity, leave them down there. I'll read it. And I will humbly accept all of it. Even though some of it might make me laugh, but that's okay. There's something I'm forgetting, and there's something I'm definitely forgetting, and I can't remember at the moment. So with that, let me go try to remember that, and stay yourselves, stay safe, and and a mental note: if the police pull you over, like they do me sometimes, keep your hands at the 10 and 2 and announce your every intention. I am about to take my hands off the steering wheel now to kick my ID so you can see my license, which is right over there. And a lot of times they'll say, "Stop, please, please." As long as you and the thing is, as long as you cooperate, they will just be nice. They might be assholes to you, but they will be nice assholes. So, if you like this, just let me know. Summer out.